The following program was underwritten by the Resource Enhancement and Protection Conservation Education Program.
The first thing we have to do when we're calibrating a native seed drill is we have to determine our quality of seed and the size of seed in relation to what box we're going to choose where that seed goes. And so I have some examples here on the table of seed quality and seed size, and we'll just go through a few examples just to give you an idea of what I mean by seed quality as far as how clean it is and seed size. Remember, this has to be done before you actually mix the seed. This is really the very first process of calibrating your drill. Is once you have purchased a seed, you have to determine its quality and its size to determine which box that seed goes into. So I've got the native grasses over here. I've got some wildflowers here. Let's just start with little blue stem. Little blue stem is a very, very fluffy seed. When you harvest it right off the plant, if you were just to hand harvest it, it's almost like cotton. It just, when you try to pour it, you get whole clumps of seed. Fortunately, that's not the way that we get it from the commercial growers today. It goes through a number of cleaning processes, and this is what little blue stem looks like when it's been debearded and de-awned. And you can request it from the commercial grower. You can ask the grower to debeard and de-awn the seed. And I would recommend that as just a standard practice that you get all of your seed debearded and de-awned, because it will allow you to use that back cool season box, and you'll get a much more even seeding rate if you have it debearded and de-awned, rather than get the seed this way with all the beards and awns and sticks intact. So this is a little blue stem. Here's Indian grass. Certainly not as fluffy as little blue stem, but we'll get a close-up and you'll be able to see it's kind of a, you can see those little wire projections on the end of the seed, and around the seed itself it's got little hairs, and all those little seed appendages make the seed real sticky, and it makes it so it doesn't flow. Again, if you request debearded and de-awned seed from the commercial grower, this is the way you'll see it, in your seed when you buy it. It just flows nice and just flows like water. I can just pour it right out of my hand. That's Indian grass. Big blue stem, very similar to Indian grass. Probably it doesn't have as many hairs on it as Indian grass, but it certainly has the awns, that little projection at the end of the seed. And again, you can see it's lumpy. You can see the projections on the ends of those seeds and all the little appendages. That's big blue stem in its non-clean state right off the plant, and this is what it looks like if you get it debearded and de-awned from the grower. And again, it pours nice and smooth, pours just like water. So those are three of the grasses. Probably the most extreme of the native grasses is Canada Wild Rye. And Canada Wild Rye, when it comes right off the plant, has this very, very long curled awn. And you can see, I'm just kind of picking the whole thing up, and you can see these long awns on the seed. And that'll just cause it to plug up your drill if you use it in any other box but the middle box. That's what the middle box was made for. The warm season fluffy seed box can handle seed that's like this. So if you decide you don't want it debearded and de-awned, you can still run this seed in your drill. There's a box for it. But I prefer to get it debearded and de-awned so I can mix all my seed together. And this is what it looks like after it goes through the cleaning process. And you can see most of those appendages are knocked off, and the seed just flows nice and smooth. The wildflowers or the forbs are the same way. In nature, many of these seeds have appendages like awns and hairs, and Here's a good example. This is Rough Blazing Star. Again, it's got this real light. A lot of seeds in the aster family have this light, like cotton or parachute tuft on the backside of the seed. Makes it very fluffy. So if you were to use this seed, you would need to put it in the middle box of the drill, the fluffy box seed, because that's pretty fluffy. However, getting it from the grower, if you request that to have it deawned, all that fluffy material is knocked off the seed, and you get a nice, very flowable seed. And this is pretty common of almost all the species in the aster family. Stiff goldenrod is another one. Here's the seed with the little fluff on it connected to each seed. You can see it doesn't flow very well. It's kind of lumpy. Again, if you run that in the drill, it needs to go into the middle box. Here's the seed from the commercial growers, and you can see it just flows like water. Now you might ask yourself, well, what harm would it be to put this clean seed in the middle box? The problem is that this seed is too flowable, and you cannot adjust the middle box down far enough to accommodate seed that's this clean. In other words, your seed will just pour out very quickly and you'll run out of seed before you finish seeding your site. So if you do get debearded and deawned seed that's really clean and flowable, I would recommend not using the middle box, because there's a good chance you're going to run out of seed before you finish your project. Seed quality is very important when you're deciding which box to put your seed in, but seed size is also important. I've got some examples here of seeds of different size. If you want to get an idea of how large or how small the seeds are, I would recommend this publication produced by Prairie Moon Nursery. It's the cultural guide and catalog. I believe you can order that online, or you can call Prairie. You can go online. It's prairiemoonnursery.com, and I think there is a charge for the guide. It's a pretty nominal fee, but what's nice about this, guys, it has every species in here, and it has seed weights. And it has recommended things that you might want to do to the seed before you plant. There's a wealth of information in here, and this catalog will give you seed weights and seed sizes and planting recommendations, and I use it frequently to refer to when I'm looking at seeds in particular. So it's a good resource to get. Okay, so talking about seed size, I brought the extremes. I bought the very largest seeds of the native plants and some of the very smallest seeds. The largest seeds, this is compass plant or silphium, and the seed is actually these dark seeds. And so they're very large seeds. Again, it's not fluffy, it's very flowable. But the point what I want to point out is that you do not want to put this largest seed in the very front box of the small seeded box. What will happen is that little fluted wheel that picks up the seed and it puts it down into the machine, a seed of this size will actually get damaged as it's going through the machine. And so for very large seeded species, they either have to go into the middle box or the rear box. So keep that in mind. And these are the silphiums. They are the very largest seeds. This is rosinweed. It's a little bit smaller than compass plant, but still it's a very big seed. It's too big a seed for that front small seeded box. So these seeds have to go either in the middle box or the rear box. They do flow. Seed flow is very good for both species. So obviously, they're ideal for the rear cool season grain box. Okay, very small seeds, and I categorize very small seeds as 100,000 seeds per ounce or higher. This is cardinal flower, and it has 400,000 seeds per ounce. just to give you an idea how small that seed is. It's almost like dust. You can't hardly even see it. Cardinal flower. 400,000 seeds per ounce. I recommend that seeds that are 100,000 seeds per ounce or higher, that you consider one of two things when you're using this seed in your prairie mix. One is that you hand broadcast the seed and don't even run it through the drill. This seed is so small that even the drill will plant it too deep. A lot of these very small seeded species need to be actually sowed right on the surface of the soil. And so even planting it 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch deep is too deep for these seeds. So there's two options. One is you hand broadcast the seed, or you can take a tube off of the drill and you can just let the seed fall through onto the ground and just bypass the seeding mechanism. This is grass leaf goldenrod. Again, 350,000 seeds per ounce. Again, it's just very tiny. You can imagine planting this seed through that big drill. It's probably going to be planted too deep, and it will be if you run it through the drilling mechanism. That's where this cultural guide comes in handy. You can look up each species and they'll tell you how many seeds there are per ounce, so it gives you an idea. Another species is common mountain mint. 220,000 seeds per ounce. Again, just little specks of dust. All these seeds need to be treated differently. So seeds over 100,000 or more, either hand broadcast or modify the drill, and I'll show you how to do that when we calibrate the drill.